Monte's World Podcast, my celebrities and heroes. I look at these people as celebrities and the things that they do, and I also look at these people as heroes for what they've been through and what they've still been able to accomplish, ladies and gentlemen. Monte's World Podcast, my celebrities and heroes.
All right, y'all, man. Listen, it's Monte World Podcast, episode 4 for my celebrities and heroes. Yo, I pulled the rabbit out the hat on this one. I don't think y'all think we was gonna pull this one off. Like, we had everybody. Yeah, I don't think y'all was ready for this one. Like, I don't think y'all was ready for this one at all. For real. Man, I don't even like. I normally line up a Shannon Sharp introduction, but it's a long, you know what I mean? So I'm like,
that takes too much time.
Like so, yo, ladies and gentlemen, bro, yo, it's Larry Mayo / L Boogie, the franchise, all of that, like,
yes, sir,
bro. What's up, man? What's up,
man? I had to make sure I got in here because you out here taking the world over one time. I'm
trying.
So, first thing, I see my son out of nowhere. I'm on YouTube minding my business, and then on some breaking news with you with the sports. I'm like, man, they out here leaving dust. I'm like, man, they doing it.
Yeah,
cool, man.
Yeah, bro. Like, man. That's my sport caster when things is happening in the NBA and things like that. Right. I still haven't even tapped in on him with the DeMar DeRozan joint. He might have to slide in on this one. Just to put that out there, like, bruh. I forgot to even do that because ain't nobody really talking about it, which they should be, because that's a crazy little situation, man. But yo, what's going on, man? Yo, I don't even know how I even want to start this because we just gonna be out here flowing. But
for sure,
man. Where we want to go, bro? Where we want to go? I want to go all the way back to the beginning. Okay. See if you remember, because I don't. Like, how do we meet? How do we meet, bro? How do we meet?
We met when. So first, what happened was, all right. So Deron Polk, right?
Okay.
So my family and the Polks, like, we was, growing up, my mom and their mom was like mad tight, and so that's how we met. And so ultimately, me and him was cool or whatever, and he used to talk about you all the time. Like, as it was, he's like, man, you need to meet Mace. You need to meet.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. For those that don't know, that's what it was. And so, and so he was always, talking about you or whatever, and we had never met or linked up. And so then the one day I'm with him, and we go to your crib, and y'all, like, you wasn't there, nobody was there, and so it was in the summer, so. I'm gonna guess it was a Tuesday night. Shout out to Deeper Life, y'all. It's probably a Bible
study. A Bible study.
You know what it was.
A Bible study.
So I'm gonna guess that's where y'all was at. But anyway, and y'all wasn't there, and like we was going to hoop, and so like I'm in the passenger seat just waiting, and while he was knocking at the door, you had the little rollaway hoop out there, and I'm like, man, I'm about to tear this down. So, I go out there real quick. I get out. He like, what is you doing? And I go up there, do a little windmill on it or whatever. And it got the like it was gonna fall, but I'm like, nah, I can't just like leave it on the ground.
Right,
ground. I'm like, nah, man, I ain't trying to mess up that little joint. But so then anyway, like that was so then after that, like you was on the radar more. I still hadn't met you, but that was the thing was him and then ultimately we just ended up like linking up at an overnighter. Shout out to them for those who don't even remember what those were, but back in the day, it used to be them overnighters jumping off, and like
was it at the Grand Slam?
Yeah.
I just wrote that down because I need you to tell somebody. I need you to tell people what really went down at that dunk contest. But go ahead. Because I just wrote that down. I'm like, yo, I gotta bring that up. But they don't know.
Yeah. So we met at the Grand Slam at an overnighter, And you know, it was the one big church that always had them and would rent the joint out. You know what it was? It was people.
It was like First Friends or something. It was somebody like that.
Yeah. And so we you know, we ended up meeting, and then I'll never forget because like they had the different hoops on the side with the trampoline floor that was real high. Now, doing like every dunk possible.
Yeah.
And like full disclosure, like I'm not a fan of heights. So even though I'm tall, like that's as high as I'm good being like that. That's a good enough height for me. But like, so like I wasn't even trying to mess with it, and you in there jumping to like the top of the backboard
all the way,
in between the legs like 3 times. Like it was crazy. And so but anyway, so that's how we first met officially.
Wow.
was at an overnighter, man. And you know, then from there, man, we just been off to the
ever since. Okay, yeah, that's dope. Shout out to that story. That's crazy. We'll talk about that dunk contest in a second, because bro, that was crazy. Because people would be like, "Oh yeah, you ain't never had no bro." Okay, you got it. So I'm glad somebody on the screen to remember what the heck went down. But yeah, man, tell me about the upbringing, the elementary school, the middle school, the high school. Where was you at?
All right, so you know, so for me, I was born in Canton, and then my mom's, you know, we was living in Maslin though.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? For those watching this joint, just Google Canton, Maslin, Ohio, and you know, it kind of,
you know what's up.
But so like I grew up in Maslin, and you know, it was kind of crazy because, you know, like it's me, I'm the youngest. I got 2 older sisters, and you know, my mom raised us or whatever. And you know, she was always jumping down my throat about everything. You know, you got to be the man of the house. You know what I'm saying? And you know, as her words, you know, it was, you know, I ain't raising no sissy. So you know, you know what I'm saying? My business or whatever. But but so like I, you know, going through elementary out there, and like I would, you know, it was just white folks everywhere, and then just me. You know what I'm saying? And like there, you know how you have 4, 5 different elementary schools. Like in the grade that I was in, every year out of all the elementary schools, I'd be like the only black kid in the first grade.
Wow.
And in the 3rd grade, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but you know, keeping it real, growing up in that kind of environment, you know what I'm saying? You know, she was just on me about paying attention to myself and what I'm doing at all times. You know, that's where the awareness started coming from, because it's, you know, you got to pay attention to how you look, and you got to pay attention to how you walk, and you got to pay attention to, you know, all those nonverbal cues or whatever. So, you know, for me, it was that like I was in training from day one is where, you know what I'm saying? But then so ultimately so in Maslin, it was 5th grade. When I got to 5th grade, we were at junior high actually in Maslin. That's how they did it. It was kind of
so they started in 5th grade?
Yeah. So 5th grade, I'm in junior high school. So, you know, I go from elementary to junior high school, which was 5th grade. So then we moved that summer when I'm going into the 6th grade, and we moved to Canton. And when I get to Canton, I'm back in elementary school because 6th grade was still I hadn't switched it over yet. So, you know, I go from elementary to junior high, back to elementary. Canton. Then the next year, 7th grade, was junior high at Sowers, because that's where I went. I was at Lathrop Elementary. You know what I'm saying? I was at Lathrop in the 6th grade elementary. 7th grade was Sowers Junior High. 8th grade, it was Sowers Middle School.
Wow.
They moved it then, and then, you know what I'm saying, then 9th grade was, you know, MCK. We already know what that is. So
wow.
So yeah, man, it was but yeah, so it was a interesting you know, transition from where I was, you know what I'm saying, growing up in Maslin at Whittier. It didn't even sound white. Whittier.
Yeah,
that was the name of the
crazy.
Whittier. Then I went to Longfellow Junior High, then Lathrop Elementary, then Sowers, and then, you know,
that is crazy.
Yeah, man, it was a ride, man. It definitely was. It definitely was.
That's crazy. Did you play sports in any of those?
So, so fun fact, Your boy started off playing football. Okay, so
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so like back then, like it was just flag football because they
Mm.
didn't have as like going up through elementary, the option was flag football, and so cats wasn't really hooping all like that.
Right.
And but it was just flag football, so I wasn't even thinking about it. But all my classmates, they were all over it. So like, what happens in Massillon? So for those who don't know, it's one high school in Massillon. That's it. It's just the one.
That's it. Yeah, that's
And
the one.
so I'm talking about, to this day, every time a baby boy is born, they get a Massillon Tiger football that's put in a crib, and they get a Massillon Tiger blanket that's made by the Booster Club. Like,
that's true.
That joint like better than colleges do. You know what I'm saying? The way they get down out there. So, I'm out there not really thinking about sports. Like I'm in the 4th grade, going into 5th grade. It's just recess and that's whatever. Like I had asthma crazy bad, like my whole life until I graduated from high school was when it finally kind of left me alone. But so like I was, it was just recess, you know what I'm saying? Tetherball, all of that.
Yeah,
like,
of course. Tetherball, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like getting after it. But I wasn't thinking about no organized sports or nothing like that. And then some of my classmates were like, I'll never forget, it was one recess in particular, and they were so focused on wanting to see how far I could throw it, how far I could kick it. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Well, I find out that, they was talking to, the coaches around there were trying to see like what the deal was. Like, this long black kid that's just, he's never really around or whatever. And so they, wanted me to come play football, come play football, because that's the thing there. It's football, that.
Yeah.
That's the thing,
period. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So, I got to talk my mom's into it because, she ain't want me to do nothing except yard. You know what I mean? So, so it was like, I go ahead and get to go there and do the little tryout thing or whatever, and so I ended up playing for the Lions, which was perfect because Barry Sanders was my favorite athlete ever growing up. It was all about Barry Sanders.
So
I end up on that team, and like and so mind you, I'm like basically the tallest person out there because that's just how it's always been. But like I was also like one of the fastest. So and it's funny, I tell people this and they don't believe me.
Of course.
But just put this in perspective. If you had to race a 9-10-year-old right now, you would smoke them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't even be a contest.
Right.
When I tell you I am as fast as I am now as I was as a kid. So
for real?
Like it wasn't close. I was just running around these folks. It was literally like Tecmo Bowl, where you just like,
hold on to the beat button and take off. You out of there.
And you just running in circles. Like that's how it felt. And so, so ultimately, we go through all of that. It's good, and there, you all in the paper and stuff. Like I'm all in the newspaper, and they got the little articles and all that kind of stuff. And then, so then fast forward to,
y'all gotta come see this. Oh, this looks crazy. So what is this called right here?
That's the fry bowl. It's like
so it got fries, chicken,
exactly,
and the sausage on top.
Yep.
Yo, this is crazy. Yeah, if y'all ain't made it out here in the city yet, y'all gotta come here. Y'all gotta come check my mans out. We out here whipping it up. They out here getting it crazy.
My junior year, now I'm at McKinley, of course, and my mom tells me that before we moved, that summer before we moved, she's like, I was waiting to tell you till you got older. The head coach for the Tigers and the assistant coach, they all come to my mom's crib. And they sat down with her and they asked her to leave me there because they knew we were moving. they asked her to leave me there with them so I could live with them and play football and continue doing whatever there in Massillon, and how they cared me and all of that kind of stuff. And I mean, you know, my mom.
Yeah, of course.
They might as well said, we're going to fly your baby to Mars. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was never even in consideration. So she shot that down so aggressive. And then she just never said nothing. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? And she was like, because I would have never heard the end of it. And so she didn't say nothing until, you know what I'm saying, I was, you know, in high school. And, you know, by that point, it didn't even matter then. And then actually my senior year, we played Massillon in basketball in Massillon. And, you know, so it's all these guys I grew up with, you know, I'm seeing them out there. And I never forget one of my coach from the Lions. He came up to me in layup line, and he's like, he says the same thing. He's like, you know, we tried to get your mom to let you stay, right? And I'm like, yeah, I just found that out like last year. And, you know, he's just like, you know, he's like, man, you could have been, you know, like, you know, whatever, you know, would have been the first class ticket, kind of wherever you wanted to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, so we kind of caught up real quick or whatever. But yeah, man, it was so that's how it started. But while all of this is going on with the football stuff, shout out to Tony Clayton. You know what I'm saying? This dude,
Tony,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? He randomly gets this basketball hoop and puts it up in my driveway like a real one with the cement and digging the hole in there. All that. I had never even thought about basketball, like, ever. And he just randomly puts that up. And I mean, shortly after the football stuff was over with, I mean, you know, I just got 2 older sisters, so half the time I was like the Ken in the Barbie games we was playing. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no dudes around. And so he got that. So then I just started being outside, just shooting. Wow. And by the time I moved to Canton, like, football was in the rearview mirror. I didn't even think about it no more. It was nothing but hoop at that point for me. So yeah, it was crazy how, you know, I went from starting off with football, and like you said, I was out there. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't just standing on the sideline. And yeah, it was flag football. So, you know, we keep it in perspective. But I mean, you know, it was like, yeah, that was. I mean, you know, they had all these projections and talking all this stuff, and all I cared about, you know, as soon as that season was over with, it was just a hoop out there. So I was just hooping all the time. And then at that point, that's all it was, man. Nothing else mattered. No other.
So you taught yourself how to hoop?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, I mean, you know, I was just telling my kids the other day, I'm like, I'm from before the internet. I'm from before YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm from before DVRs. I'm from having 3 channels on this little TV that's smaller than my laptop that I'm on right now. And, you know, and so it's like, I didn't see a lot of games. I didn't see a lot of stuff. So for me, it was always about, if I couldn't do something, I would just keep working on it until I could do it. And so, you know, it was, you know, layups or whatever. And, you know, I couldn't dribble between my legs. So I was like, like, it took forever. You know what I mean? But, you know, trying to just working at it. And, you know, and then I remember it got to the point where my right hand was decent, but my left hand was trash. And I just started working. So, you know, but it wasn't much to watch. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was going to games. It wasn't like I could see them on TV. But, you know, it was just, I just worked at it and just would come up with stuff and think of stuff and just would just keep going. And I fell in love with it just from doing that kind of stuff, man. So, it was kind of funny how it worked out.
That's crazy. Did you play for McKinley or no?
Yeah, not football, but basketball. Yeah,
basketball. Yeah, you play for them?
Yeah. So I guess technically I was on the team, but you know that actually transitioned to the next phase of life for me at that point. That's true. So like my freshman year, I didn't even go out. Like I wasn't even thinking about it. Like I played at Lathrop in the 6th grade, and then you know what I'm saying, got the Sours, got cut the 7th grade year, and then 8th grade I played And between my 7th and 8th grade year was probably the biggest leap that I probably made easily to that point, because like I was just offended. Like, what you mean cut?
Yeah,
I'm like,
what? Yeah.
like I'm looking at some of these guys that didn't get cut, and I'm just like, okay,
no name gangsters for sure.
Exactly, for real. And I'm just thinking, like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, what am I missing? And and you know how it is, like people try to put you in the box, because mind you, I'm not getting any smaller, so I'm still taller than folks. And you know, it's I mean, you know how it is. They just like, well, they just assume, oh, well, if you this height, then you know this is what you're gonna do or whatever. And so they just wasn't respecting what I was bringing to the table. And I'm like, okay, well, I gotta step my game up. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta put some serious work in. And, you know, we lived across the street from Lathrop, and so I mean, I'm talking about every day, winter, spring, didn't matter. Like I literally was shoveling the court off in the wintertime. Keith would come to the crib. Keith McLeod, shout out to him. You know, he'd come through.
What did Aaron and Joey and all of them? Because I remember I met them. Right?
Yeah. So them dudes, they like I didn't even meet them until like I was in high school. So Joey transferred in. He transferred in to McKinley. He never played officially, but we tried to get him to play. But
that
you know, you know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't trying to do, you know, it was a grind. You know what I'm saying? We ran the McKinley program like a college program. And you know, just to be clear on that, like for conditioning, we used to have to run on the highway. Like I'm talking about, we would, you know, with Sneed, shout out to Coach Sneed. I mean, this man, you know, we warm up or whatever, and we would have to go do this conditioning, and we would run from McKinley down the hill, turn left at the park, run across Fulton, and run right up on that ramp exit and run all the way down to the next exit. Now I say we ran, man. I was walking by the time we got to Fulton. I'm like, man, y'all playing games.
Yo, bro.
But down the highway and then getting down off the next exit and coming back. And so like, you know, and so a lot of guys, and basically that's how they weeded out people, because I mean, you know, there was guys that could hoop. I mean, that could really ball, but it was
they weren't doing that.
Right. And wasn't nobody doing that. I mean, dudes was falling off before we even got, like, they would just stop and just walk back. Like, man, I ain't doing this. Like, I'm done. I ain't doing this. So, but so like there, you know, so like I played my sophomore through senior year. Yeah, McKinley.
Yo, that's wild, bro. Uncle Tony putting that back. Rest in peace to Uncle Tony, but shout out to him. That was crazy, man. Like Uncle Tony, man, he was an energy in itself, bro. He was
he was.
That man was an energy.
Like the biggest enigma in the history.
Oh my God.
Like, I swear, man.
He was wild.
And so, like, for me, like, he was the closest thing to a father figure that I had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, he was around all the time.
Yeah. Uncle Tony was something,
just
man.
Unlimited. I mean, from the crazy, outlandish things of him eating onions like apples, just
he was eating onions like apples.
To you know, to him, like, you know, making it clear to me, you know, how to keep your head on the swivel, and you know, it's like you got to protect the people that's around you, and even if that means you get hurt, like, you know what I'm saying, like it just everything in between. You know, he was something, man, for sure.
He was the reason why I learned how to play spades.
That was.
He put it on his head or something, be like, ask for forgiveness type deal. Like, Uncle Tony used to have these slangs, these little words. Wow.
He was always talking, and I never forget. So then I'd be, you know, playing, you know, just shooting and stuff by myself at the crib in Maslin. And then he would just randomly at different times when he'd be over there, he'd come outside and just be like, all right, let's play. And then he would just destroy me. Needless to say,
he was really good.
Yeah, he was nice. And
he was good.
And I'll never forget, as I got better, and I was at the point where, like, I'm calling him out, like, hey, come on, man. Let's play.
Like, what's up?
We need to play. No, my
He ain't
knee.
want none of that.
Oh my,
He ain't
you
want
know,
none of that.
and like that was
He
like
knew.
I hated that so much that I never got to put the smack down on him.
He knew. He knew.
He used to
He
play.
knew.
Like when it got to the point where he knew what time it was,
He
or he
knew.
even thought it could have been at that point. Because
He
you know,
knew.
even like when we would hoop somewhere or whatever, even you know, like shortly before I moved up here, you know, he used to just come to the park, remember, and just like watch. Or
Just to
you
watch.
know, try to half ref or whatever. So like he was always paying attention, and so he saw as I was, you know, progressing what time it was, and he had it used every time, and he just never get out there. I'm like,
he
man,
didn't want it. He
like,
didn't want
let's
it.
do this. Like he used to bully me when I was little on the court.
Yeah. He didn't want it. Like he didn't want it. Like I said, I caught tailwind when you was already nice at hoop. So when I was watching just watching your handles and just doing all that, and then the jumper was just crazy. I'm like, oh yo, this is crazy. So then Patrick is hooping with you. So Patrick getting nice. After one time you was hooping with RJ, and RJ started getting nice. Everybody started getting nice because they was hooping with you. And I was just like, bro, Deron hooping. He's like, bro, everybody. I'm like, bro, this cat nigga, everybody nice. Everybody is nice. I'm like, bro, this is wow. Like, yo, this dude, this is crazy.
It's good somebody else is saying it, because you know how it is when you have kids, like, you know,
they
with them now with work stuff, you know, like when I tell them, you know, about with the school, you know, I work in the district up here and all of this stuff, and you know, talk to them about that kind of stuff, and I'm like, look, man, y'all gonna be under a microscope, you know, because of who I am and where I work and all of this stuff, and you know, and I'm like, you know, well, why? And ultimately, I'm like, well, I mean, I'm kind of a big deal, you know what I'm saying?
Kind of a big deal, bro.
Kind of a big. So like that's a kind of our running joke thing or whatever. But anyway, like so like I would, you know, sometimes tell William some stuff about, you know, back in the day with hooping or stuff like that.
He didn't believe it.
But you know, like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't be like bragging on ourselves or nothing and really trying to get in deep of stuff that happened. But you know, so now the past few months, you know what I'm saying? It's once a week now. They got the little they be having a gym open, adult run. So like I've been starting to go back in there and like slowly trying to get back at it. So I be having William with me, so you know he'd be out there with the grown up whatever. And you know, I'm so far removed from where I was, it ain't even funny. But, you know, but I mean, nevertheless, I mean, when it comes to, you know,
it's still there.
Just like, I mean, you know, like they learn pretty quick. You know what I'm saying? They learn pretty quick. And, you know, but in any event, you know, but it's just funny, you know, hearing you talk about that with all these different guys we used to hoop with all the time.
Bruh.
I mean, you know, like you said, that came from, so, you know, as I start, you know, after I got cut as a 7th grader, the first thing I started doing was, so, you know, like, you know, my thing is passing, you know, like I love setting people
dime dropping.
Yeah. You know, like that's my bread and butter. And what I realized that was just frustrating was like, I wanted to do it, but I didn't have the rest of the skill set to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so like, if you know how it is that, oh, you tall, you down low. And it's like, well, I'm down there wrestling with these big uglies. Like I'm not like in the offense being able to have hands on the ball like ever. I'm setting screens and I'm, you know what I'm saying, trying to get offensive rebounds and all of that stuff. So like I'm like, okay, well, I gotta learn how to dribble. And so like I used to, you know, people talk about different ways you can do that. So I used to try dribbling tennis balls and, you know, just like all of that stuff. And ultimately, I mean, maybe that worked for some people, but at the end of the day, you ain't dribbling a tennis ball on the court.
So why are you dribbling?
Right. So, but I mean, I'm talking about everywhere I went. I was dribbling the basketball. We used to walk all up to downtown from my mom's house, and you know, and I would just have a ball everywhere, just dribbling and constantly dribbling and putting myself through drills and just coming up with drills and, you know, change of direction and all of that kind of stuff. And so then it got to the point where my handle was
crazy
place. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is still when I'm like getting there. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to get nice, and my handle was in a good place, but like I couldn't shoot to save my life because all I did was just dribble all the time.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, okay. So then I started working on that, and you know, and then it just got to the point where, you know, it all just started coming together. And, you know, by that point, like
it was over.
It was just trouble, you know.
It was trouble. Jumpers pull up for everything. They like, yo, this KG right here. This KG right here.
That's just what it was. And it was so funny. I remember one time we were at Monument Park hooping. Yeah. And so you might remember this. So like I graduated from high school in 98. So like around that time frame, it just started being these big foreigners that just started coming to hoop at like Maslin and Perry and Jackson and all of this stuff. They was just getting these big long dudes like out of nowhere. Yeah. And so then these dudes ended up, and so this is after I had already graduated from high school, but so like we had Monument Park running, and like it got to the point where, and you know, I never really said a whole lot on the court because for me, it's like, you know, my game is going to do all the talking.
Right.
I don't have to say nothing. I might give you a look every now and again, or
laugh.
You know, I'm good for laughing. But,
right.
But otherwise, and so like we out there putting in work, and I'll never forget, it was one of the big dudes. He ended up going to play for O State. He was like a Serbian. Like a Serbian. His name was like Slobodan Sokoljic or something crazy.
Wow.
And, he went and played at O State and then he transferred somewhere else. But anyway, we out there hooping or whatever, and you know, running full. And he start trying to feel himself a little bit. You know, like something that always irked me is like, if I'm guarding you and somebody hit me with a pick because my man don't call out the pick and you score, you don't got nothing to say because you ain't just break me down. Like somebody just gave you a wide open look. Right. So he did that and it like tied the game up or something. And I'm just like, okay, like I'm about to end this thing. And so it's just so funny. The only reason I remember this is because now it's such a popular thing. But I came down and somebody tried to set a pick. I'm like, no, I don't need that. So, you know what I'm saying? I give him, you know, a couple little hesitations or whatever. And when I tell you, as soon as the ball left my hands, I turned around and I was like, game. Ball hadn't even hit, it hadn't even hit the rim or nothing. I mean, I called game as soon as the ball left my hand and started walking the other way.
Wow.
And then cats go crazy. The dude, he came up to me, zapping me up and hugging me all stuff.
Wow.
Like, okay, you got it, man. You got it. And he was like, you played at McKinley, right? I'm like, man, you don't remember me because I was on the squad, but unfortunately, I wasn't playing all like that. But in any event, you know, now, you know, that's Steph's thing all the time. And that's always one of the turnaround game. But that's just so funny to me because, you
everybody
know,
do it.
And, you know, thinking back, like, you know, it started off where I couldn't do much of nothing. And then could dribble all the time and still couldn't shoot to save my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you know, some people like, oh, that's luck. It's like, for those that know, you know, if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And, so
bro, before I change the subject, I gotta bring in the one story that I know used to play in this one little league. I don't know if it was a church.
Oh, I forgot all about it.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I came and we was playing. I think y'all was playing either to 100 or 200. I don't remember what y'all was playing to, but everybody was hooping and I was there watching. Wow. Bro, you banged it two-hand, was like, game, hit the backboard. It was like, bot game. I was like, oh! He went up two-hand, was like, boom, game. I'm like, oh, bro.
Man,
that was crazy.
I forgot all about that.
That was, I don't even remember where that was at, because that was a little further out of Canton, because we had to drive
it was Minerva. It was Minerva.
That's what it was.
Minerva.
Man,
and you know what's funny? If there is one regret that I had from my prime, if you will, if you remember, like I never used to dunk a lot. Like I just
all layups.
Like get up there over the rim and then just drop it in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But and that was, it was, that was just the thing that, I never really thought about. And so that made me think when you was talking about that dunk contest, man.
Bro.
Like that was so crazy because, like I said, that just wasn't my thing really.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I could do it if I wanted to. I just didn't want to. It didn't matter. Like, I was more concerned with other stuff. But and so, what was it? It was Keithon Poole and some other no-name gangsters that was around.
No-name gangsters, fact, yeah.
And, so they having this dunk contest, and I wasn't even going to be in it. This is at, what I'm saying, at the spot over there, and how they had the adjustable rims.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Grand Slam was lit.
Yeah, the Grand Slam was on point.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't even going to be in it. I wasn't going to do it because I'm like, man, I'm cool. They didn't have enough people. And then, and for that one, I'll never forget it because it was like technically Keithon's church. I mean, not that he really went.
Yeah, of course.
He went to some.
Yo, real quick, I hate to pause the show, but I want to let you know it's a new podcast out there, the MNT podcast. Monte and my bro Tone. Y'all make sure y'all go follow that. The Monte and Tone podcast, MNT. So the letter M, the what is that? The N sign and the T podcast. Make sure you share, like, comment, subscribe. We talking about everything, relationships, business ideas, what goes on in the Uber world, because we both Uber drivers, what goes on in relationships, what goes on in all these things. We got a lot of knowledge for you. Y'all make sure y'all check that out. Get with us. We're going to be doing interviews. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff. We might pop up on you, and we're going to have some merch ready to go as well. So make sure y'all share, like, comment, and most of all, subscribe to the M&T podcast, Monte and Tone's podcast, man. Back to the show.
To sometime they was the ones. Shout out to Keithon. You know what I'm saying? Like they was the ones who was having it. And so like he's that guy. You know how it is. Like if it's your church and you like the best athlete or whatever, like you that guy for them. And so it's whatever because we used to hoop all the time anyway. And so, but I'm just like y'all whatever y'all do your thing. And then you get the running off at the mouth.
Of course. Keithon and Willie, that's what they're known for.
Exactly. Actually Willie was there too. Now that
he was.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, okay, like I guess I'll get in it. And, at first, was just doing a little lightweight stuff. So like the first dunk I ever did, which was funny because I mean I tell you, man, when they talk about how much the game is mental and then physical. I mean, that's true. It's just weird. So like for me, the first time I ever dunked, and the only way I could dunk for like the first probably year or two that I ever dunked was if I bounced the ball with my left hand and caught it with my right hand. I could so like somehow mentally for me, if I just jumped with the ball, I wouldn't even get over the rim.
Wow.
But if I bounced the ball and just like attacked the ball, it didn't matter where the ball went. And I just get up there and just throw it down. So like it was, but I could never just, and I mean, it was dudes shorter than me. They're just off 2 feet, just, Keith is one of them. Just 2 steps to go up 2. I'm like, come on, like you in the mix right now, man. Like, Aaron Graves, like all of y'all in the mix.
Aaron's bunnies was crazy, bro.
Like, how is that even real? Like you're not even trying. Like I'm having to make this effort to make this happen. And y'all guys 4 or 5 inches shorter than me, and you just going up mad easy. So but anyway, so I do my little signature one at first, the little bounce or whatever. And I'm just thinking like, I don't even be thinking of dunks, you know what I'm saying? Like, contests or whatever. And so, but they kept missing at first, they was going, they were missing. And then, so I did my little bounce dunk or whatever. And, they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then, they, so like, it was kind of anticlimactic. And then I remember Keithon, it's on like 9 foot, maybe a little over 9. And he throw it off the wall.
Off the wall. I was just about to say that. I remember that.
Bounce and he catch and dunk it too.
Yeah.
Right? And so then, now they going crazy. Oh, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing you can do. I'm like, okay, so I guess that's what we doing now.
Right,
so,
yeah.
I mean, you know what it was. So I raised the rim.
I remember.
All the way up as high as it could go.
Bro, that's crazy.
It was like a little over 11 feet is where the rim is. Now, a regulation rim is 10 feet, as we know.
10, yeah.
So I raised it up. It was like 11.1, 11.2 is where the rim is.
Yeah.
And mind you, I had never done nothing like that before.
Yeah.
I just knew that with, just whether it was layup line or whatever, I would get up real high off my left leg because I was always my strong leg, and then just drop it in and I get easily my elbow over the rim.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, man, okay. I'm like, all right, here we go. Like, now you trying to call me out. You acting like you doing something on this 9 change.
On 9. This ain't even regulation.
Right. And so, and I raised it up and I look and I'm actually like, dang, that's
up there. It was up there.
That joint is kind of up there. That joint is kind of up there. And whatever and then then it was, man, yeah, right. There ain't no way. And so, and the rest is history at that point. I had to, go with my signature game. Like I said, look, I can attack it. The ball is going up there. I'm gonna go get it. And
crazy.
Just dribbled down the first time and bounced it and went up and threw that thing down so freaking hard. I surprised myself.
Yeah, and they lost it.
Yeah. And then I remember after that, Keith Allen was like, "No, hold up, I can." No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah, not up there.
Like just stop. So, so that was, man. I forgot all about that, man. Bro, that's so funny.
Bro, listen, that's
so funny.
I'm trying to remember if that was the same time I won the contest against Carlos. Was that the same night? I feel
like it might have been because I feel like we both came away on the
that same night, if I'm not mistaken.
I feel like it was.
Yeah,
I feel like it was, man.
Yeah, because Carlos did a crazy. Because I got in there and our was probably like on 8.5, maybe something like that. So Carlos, he probably like 5'6", 5'7". He threw it off the wall on his first dunk, and I don't even know if we got three dunks or whatever because I don't remember what my first one was. But I remember the second one. I jumped from the foul line, 2-hand. Boom, but landed right on my butt. I was like, I flushed it. I was like,
it fell back.
Yeah, because I didn't even grab the rim. Yeah, like, They was like, bro, that was crazy. But I'm like, bro, I'm hurting. So Carlos is like, I don't remember what his third one was. And Rashad was like, bro, you know what you got to do. Because he did something. And he's like, you know what you got to do. And I think was it you, G. Bush, and Rashad?
It might have been.
Y'all all bent down
under the
right
hoop,
there from the foul. Yeah, under the hoop.
Yep.
And I went back there and everybody was like, man, you tripping, bro. You're not about to do that. You about to jump over G. Bush, L, and Rashad? Like, no, that's not happening, bro. And I took off. And they said it looked like I was about to hit whoever was in the back. They back with my foot. I glided over that joint. Boom, bro, the whole gym was like, bro, this dude should not even be able to jump like that. Like, bro, bro.
Yeah, it used to go down. And so, that was my point. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I try to explain to people, which I don't even really do no more, but when I used to, especially when I moved up here or whatever, I'm like, you just don't understand. I'm like, I can't really explain to you. I'm like, I mean, by and large, like, more people were good at stuff than one, and these are people that didn't even try to play or just sometimes just for fun. And like guys were just, I'm like, it must be something in the water down there because, like, moving up here, like, man, it's comical at best the way they get down with stuff, man. Like from growing up. Like at Lathrop in the 6th grade, we had like a 25 game schedule. We had playoffs. We had,
all that.
And everybody was down there where at the Martin Center.
At the Martin Center.
Every Saturday playing, and then we had practice every day. You had to make the team or you got cut. Like it was real. I mean,
it was super real.
Coach Buck, and all them cats cussing us out, whatever. We just like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was real life. Like it was real.
Yeah.
And you know, I get up here
Ain't nothing like that.
They don't even have real teams in middle school or junior high school, not basketball. Like they got, I think, track a little bit. They don't even really got football.
That's wow.
It's just, but you can like be a part of these little league things that, you know, your parents pay into and all of that. And then if you do that going up the ranks, then you just like kind of automatically get on the football team when you were in high school. And it's just like, man,
yeah, that ain't how it go, bro.
It's weird, you know. And I've said a few times, like I would love to be able to work out a home and home where McKinley can come up here and play these cats up here.
Smoke them.
Oh my gosh, I'm like that would be one of my greatest moments. And this ain't even our version, because I mean, from the time I was there, I mean, we already know what the history was like, know, but from like around the years I was there, and then going back to probably when you graduated to a little bit even after that, like that window, like that was arguably some of the most successful years in basketball, football, baseball,
all that,
swimming. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just crazy. And like even now, you know, when I would, you know, tell people about, you know, the guys that, you know, we went to school with and grew up with and the different things that, you know, different folks is doing or whatever, or have done or whatever. Like, and you know, they're just like, how is that possible? I'm like, that's just what it was. I'm like, and these are guys that you've heard of. I'm like, there are so many guys that you've never heard of that were, you know, some of the, like, it's just, it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I tell people here, I'm like, yo, you know, Mike Doss was in my African American Studies class. They like Mike Doss that went to Ohio State. I'm like, and went to the Colts and won a Super Bowl. I went to school. He was in class with me. They was like, what? I'm like, Tyler Everett. He went to Ohio State. He went to go to the Bears. I'm like, yo, we was around all of that. We was around athletes. And it wasn't even just at McKinley. You got Glen Oak, Perry.
That's what I'm saying.
All them teams, St. Ignatius, when they was monsters at the time, bro. You bring any of them to Wisconsin, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
back then, I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, you had guys like,
Maurice Claret was at Warren.
He was at Warren Harding, and you know we played them every year. I mean, it's just an unlimited number of guys. I mean, from
Kenny Peterson,
you know, Kenny, Jamar. You know, Josh McDaniels, for that matter.
Josh McDaniels.
I mean, you know, he out here. Where he coaching now? I mean, he was
Patriots. I forgot.
Then now, I think most recently he was the Raiders head coach. I think
he was. He ain't there now. He's somewhere else.
But it's like,
no, he ain't there right now.
Right, but this man is I mean, he been a head coach in the NFL multiple times. He's been a lead assistant with the Patriots and Belichick for all of them Super Bowls they won. All of them Super Bowls. Then he got promoted from offensive coordinator to to quarterbacks coach. So he was coaching Tom Brady all them times. Then he was an offensive coordinator. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
all that.
It's just guys that's all over the place that you know, and then obviously, you know, like you said, with Keith hooping in the league, and I mean, and just guys that even went overseas, and
Jamal Ball. What's his name? Jamal Ball.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so many guys that just were everywhere hooping, and obviously, you know, CJ still out there putting that work in.
That's what I mean, my boy Tony Townsend is overseas. Adrian Hill overseas. Like,
Right. That's what I mean. And so it's like, and then guys being, you know, and that's just professional stuff. I mean, you know, guys being, you know, great at the college level, you know, in these different sports and putting this work in. And I mean, and it's just such a normal thing, you know, like I tell people how
so normal,
like, you know, in some summers, well, every summer, like Eric Snow, and like I remember a couple of times he bringing cats back with him from the Sixers.
Eric Snow,
you know what I'm saying, and Big Bobo, you know what I'm saying. He like 7'2". I never forget the one time in the summer we hooping, and you know, one of the things I tell people, one of the reasons we were so good is because you always played up. You know, like I tell people, one of the reasons we were so good is because you always played up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and some summers, like, you know, in some summers, like Eric Snow, and like I remember a couple of times he bringing cats back with him from the Sixers. You know what I'm saying, and Big Bobo, you know what I'm saying. He like 7'2". I never forget the one time in the summer we hooping, and you know, one of the things I tell people, one of the reasons we were so good is because you always played up. Like you never played people your age until you were actually like in the season playing people your age. But in the off season, everybody you played was older than you and stronger than you and faster than you and better than you. And so you had to, you know, I mean, you always had to put work in with these guys. And I'll never forget, Keith told me this one time, it was in the summer, and he was like, hey man, you got to come to the center, man. Eric is back and we in there running, you know, we've been looking for you. I'm like, all right. So the next day I go up there and we hooping. And that's the first time I had ever hooped against Eric. And, you know, at the time, I think I'm a junior. And anyway, so we're in there hooping. And ultimately, you know, you check up or whatever, you pick teams. And then, you know, and then Keith, he's just like, man, you got Eric. Because Eric wanted Keith to guard him. Because, you know, Keith was that guy, you know, on the court. And then Keith was like, no, L, you got him. And then I'll never forget the look on Eric's face, like, who is this guy?
Like, right.
When I proceed to destroy this man, I'm talking about what did Michael Jordan say? And I took that personally. Like this man gave that look, and so and you know, and Keith is loving it. So when it's over with that day, Eric,
and Keith knew what it was about to be.
Oh yeah, because me and Keith used to go at it like every day. And so like before practice, like school would be out, we go to the center, just me and him, and just go at it real tough. Then we drive back to McKinley for conditioning and practice. And so when it was over with, I'll never forget, Eric was like, you gonna be here tomorrow? I got something for you tomorrow. I'm like, okay. Man, I get there tomorrow. That's the first time I met Bryant Bowden, also known as Bobo. This man is like 7'2", like no, he actually like 6'11", only 6'11". What? He was like 350. Listen, there was nothing in any way, shape, or form that I could do with this man at all, period. On defense, on offense, I could still do a little bit of something. Right. But not a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? But he was just, it just wasn't even fair. He's basically, you know, you remember Tractor Trailer. He was basically the same guy except light skin. Like this dude, I mean, you know, he went to McKinley and he had played overseas. He had just got back from being overseas and he was on his little break. And so Eric hit him up. And so
he had to. He brought reinforcements.
Oh, yeah, he had to. He had to. You know, but anyway, and then ever since then, like anytime I see Eric, you know, he come back for graduations and this and that, you know, you always, you know, oh, what's good, man? It's good to see you and all that. I'm like, yeah, man. You know, you don't want to tell Colangelo and them with the Sixers what happened to you over the summer. But like I said, man, it's just, but you know, guys was just nice for no reason. I mean, you know, just even guys that didn't hoop all the time. And again, like we know the Pools, that whole family.
Whole family.
Like
even the girls.
They didn't hoop like nowhere, but they like legends because they was just ballers, right? Like girls got all of them just like and they going at guys who have college scholarships that's playing at D1 schools, you know what I'm saying? And they just making them look silly. And you know, so it's just like it's just crazy, you know, just being in and around that area and just seeing. I mean, I remember randomly, I don't know how it happened, but it was me, you, Duran, all these random cats, and we just randomly playing football out on this field at McKinley outside.
I think was that because we was in band. So did you come before the game and we was playing for the band because we used to play on Don Scott Field all the time?
No, but it was something like that because it was Don Scott Field we were on. Yeah, we went up there and y'all was playing, and I don't know how or why or what. You know, once again, I'm with Duran, and he like, you know, they playing football, so we just randomly go up there. Yeah, we all up there playing, and like, I swear, like, Cass was saying it was cheating for you to do anything. Because, like, you just running around people and catching everything. And
interceptions, taking it to the house.
Exactly.
They like, bro, we can't even do no win.
Right, exactly. They just like, that ain't even fair, man. You shouldn't be able to play. And it's like,
Dang.
what you mean? How you just gonna say somebody can't play because they
I was doing the bad.
And so, you know, but like I said, that's what I mean. It's like, and obviously you wasn't like you was in the band and you did.
That's it. That's all it was.
Stuff, you know what I'm saying? And you wasn't even really into the music thing at that point, really.
No, nope.
So it's like, but you just had game and basketball, football. You know what I'm saying? Like I swear, like I said, I don't know if it's the water. I don't know what it is around there. But man, folks around there was just putting work in, like in everything. Like it's just so crazy. It's so crazy.
Everybody. I'm talking about everybody from Ellisdale Park to Chips Park. Everybody go hoop.
Yep.
It don't. If anybody came, if we was outside hooping, just shooting around, and if any of them Chips doors opened up, there was a hooper coming outside.
Yep.
They wasn't trash. They was a hooper.
Exactly.
Coming outside, like they about to get busy. Oh, we had Ellisdale, Les Park. Right when they hear 2-3 dribbles, all of a sudden you just hear doom, 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 doom.
Yep.
And you just see mad people walking to the park.
Yep.
That's it. And everybody hooping. And everybody was nice. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, he all right.
Exactly. That's what
everybody was nice.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like it was some scrubs out there, man. Like, and again, if you think about it, like that makes no sense. It makes no sense that most people are just good at this stuff. You know, like how is that even real? But that's just what the reality was where we're from. Everybody was good. Everybody
was dope.
Everybody was nice. I mean, that's part of the reasons why, you know, some guys never got a lot of run if they played for McKinley or
because there was so many.
Yeah, it was just guys that was all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Putting work in, and you know, it was just like, it was crazy, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we was out there. We was on them trenches, man. I remember them Don Scott Field joints. The only person that could stop me out there was Rashad, because Rashad was fast as heck. And I remember when he was a running back, and he would just get it. He was so big, so nobody would want to go and try to tackle him. But he was so fast too, though. Like Rashad's speed ability was crazy. I remember when I was trying to catch him, and they was like, "Yo, the only person gonna catch him is Mace," and I'm running, and Rashad looking back like he jogging, and I'm like, "Bro, is you running hard? I'm running hard." And then he just speed up faster. I'm like, "Bro, this dude is fast as heck." And
what sport did he play?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
he was in a band with me,
right? That's my point. Like, I mean, it just
could have easily been on the field. Could have easily been on the field.
Man, it was just so crazy. But then also we know about the politics and all of that kind of stuff. You know, that was you can't mention McKinley without politics. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
With folks, I mean, I remember it trickled all the way down to the cheerleaders. Because remember, it was the one head majorette was white, but the black girl beat her out, and everybody black girl, but then they still made it. You know what I'm saying? And here for the first time, it was just like, you know, it was just always some craziness with. I mean, shoot, I remember that with the this announcer, black guy had just became the announcer for home games for varsity, and he was bringing some energy with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if it was a turnover or something, you know, he like Bulldog basketball, you know, all of this stuff, like trying to get people, you know, people was loving it. They was like, no, that's not, you know, some people could get offended by that, and that's not in the spirit of what we want to represent. It's like, you know, like if you didn't march to the beat of, you know, how they wanted you to. It just didn't matter, you know. But yeah, man, it was.
Listen, man, I'm just getting warmed up. We already an hour in. I ain't even got to like that good stuff yet. We just talking about the hooping, like, bro, this is crazy. And I want to talk about another hoop situation, but I gotta bring up my sister first and how that situation happened before I gotta swing it back, because it's something that I'm gonna bring up that I know you're gonna die laughing. Because when people bring this up, they get hurt when they bring this up, and I'm pretty sure you might know what I'm talking about. But
I'm trying to think, like, what is this?
When I say it, you're gonna be like, bruh, the N-bomb might drop because of how crazy this was. But before we go there, should I say, how do I want to bring that in? Okay, I'll go this route. When did you start going to church, and what church did you go to first before you?
Okay, so again, you know, shout out to Tony Clayton. So like I basically grew up in church-ish because like him and my mom was like a item or whatever. So and so the church that he had was called Logos Ministries. I don't know why, I'll never forget that. But that was the joint, and we used to have church at the YWCA in Kansas.
I remember that.
And so so you know, like that was that, you know, like when my mom, you know, she read us Bible stories all the time, and had to pray. Matter of fact, the prayer that we had that she taught us when, you know, we were little was the same prayer I taught the boys when they was little, to pray over their food and stuff and all of that. But anyway, so we was there, and then ultimately once we got to Canton, officially moved there, then we eventually transitioned to Trinity Gospel Temple. And it was there for a minute. Shout out to Brother Dave.
Brother Dave. Yeah.
Man, funny story real quick. So like Brother Dave Lombardi, you know, Italian dude or whatever, he's still a pastor there. He like 93 or something.
Yeah, he's so old, bro.
He's still out there. But so like, you know, I used to have asthma real bad. Was in the hospital, and I never forget, I had just watched, what movie came out? Some kind of mafia type movie had just came out. I had just seen it, like, because it got to a point at the hospital, like I'm in there and they had a little thing like, oh, we can bring the movies or whatever. So I watched this movie. And I can't remember what it was. I know it was some mafia movie. And then no sooner than the movie is over with, I'm sitting in the bed or whatever, just like kind of chilling. I see two Italian looking dudes with suits on come to the door and stand there talking about, are you Larry Mayo?
For real?
Yeah, this is real life. I look over there. I'm like, who's asking? And then the other guy, he's just like, oh, sorry about that. I'm sure that was probably, you know, a little weird for you. They actually were from the church, from Trinity. And they but they just came in so aggressive.
Two to the dome, you know I came to kill. And all the DJs and beat makers know the drill. Your boy back, they all run like sawmill. This beat was just sent to me, this was a fresh kill. But you ain't know when I load up, I act wild. Like draw four, my screen kicks like a bad child. It's time to relocate, but not the eastbound. Call me a virus, we moving to the west now. I've been bugging more ammo than any Russian. My 16s I air out like a semi-bustin'. My chick bad, I sing to her like David Ruffin. Give her the game, she roll up, we lit and puffin'. Thought I was done, but this rapping is in my bloodline. Heat feeding me beats, I zip them up like A-Shine. The swag so out of this world, never in state lines. Used to be passing with everything, now I take mine. Pittsburgh, my name Monte, some of you notice me. I get you lit and I'm brown, nickname me Hennessy. I came in the game, they ain't do nothing but doubt. But now I feel like a tongue to win my name in your mouth.